Rolling.
Are we live?
3, 2, 1. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'd like to call to order this November 10th, 2025 meeting of the Snohomish County Fire District 4 Board of Commissioners. You good, Sean?
Yes.
Okay. Please stand and join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that Commissioner Merritt is absent. Sir, do you have any requested changes to the order of the agenda?
No, I do not.
All right. Stands as presented. We have minutes from October 13th. Any additions, deletions, changes, modifications? No.
Okay.
Those are approved as presented. Now is the time of, we're just flying through stuff. Go ahead.
We also have the minutes from the 20.
Oh, the special meeting.
25th?
Forgot about that.
Yes.
Any changes to those? Right?
No.
Okay.
No.
That meeting minutes there also. Sorry about that. I was just going on some notes. Now's the time of the meeting where members of the public can address the commission on topics not on the agenda. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Anyone through email or online? No? Okay. Moving on to informational items, we have accounts payable, receivable, and payroll. And I had a couple of questions. The RLB plumbing with the septic tank, did we have to replace the septic tank, or was it just a cleaning, flushing?
Just a pump for the
Just a
septic
pump.
tank, yes.
And just to remember, we don't have a septic system, so it's just the tank.
Yeah,
So that's all. It's
just a tank,
and we pump it.
holding tank,
Oh,
So we don't quite read it, those things.
yeah, no drink from it. So it's periodic, depending on how much it gets used, is the frequency of when we pump it. But it's usually 3 to 4 times per year.
so there were two charges. One was for $2,900.
Okay.
One was for 672.
Yeah, the 672 is the septic pump, yep, pump and dump. The other one is all of the drains on the grounds go into our filtration system. So we have every couple of years, a big vacuum truck come out, vacuums up all of the drains. And then,
Okay.
yep, there's a pit
Just curious.
that collects the big chunks, and then that is sucked out as well. That's what that one's for.
All right. I also have a question on accounts receivable, specifically from the city of Snohomish. Last month, we got a payment of $243,916.30, which was exactly the amount which we invoiced them for in August. Right? This month, or last month, we invoiced them for a total, in September, invoiced them for a total of $575,000. But the payment this month was only $62,000. I'm curious about that. Do we know?
I can speculate it's timing and the different invoices that they've received, because we invoice them as soon as we get it, even a copy of what it is, so it's probably not a
So it's
lump sum.
dependent upon invoices that we get.
Correct, and then their process.
So it could have been September 30th or.
Yeah,
Got it.
and
Okay,
we could get, you know, a couple in a month, and then their
Sure.
process to approve them and get us paid
that
and
makes
all
sense.
that.
All right. Anything from you, sir?
Just a couple of questions, back to where we started from. The first one, for the annual inspections, what are those? That's from AAA, I read, annual inspections.
So the fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguishers?
Yes.
Okay. All right, because I saw all the stations there, I wasn't sure what it was. Second one, what's the cost of the individual pair of new leather boots now? Because it was like $4,000 for leather boots. I just,
Yeah.
just a curiosity.
About 325 to 350.
325 now, I was figuring 250, 275, so.
We wish.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything has gone up
Yeah.
exponentially. so.
Don't tell me they're made in China.
These ones aren't now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So we don't have to pay tariffs and imports.
And then there was one from Purcell for tire repair. Was that a repair or was that a replacement of the tire?
It ended up being a replacement.
That's, okay, I was wondering, or if I was wondering if it was the inside dual.
No, we lost a
Lost a whole
tire.
tire?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Without the medic unit on the trusses.
That's all I had question-wise for accounts payable and receivable.
All right. We'll accept all of those.
Okay.
Thank you. We need to officially establish through resolution number 579, our meeting schedule for next year. And we looked at it last meeting and I think at our retreat as well. And I think we're all good with it. So I move that we adopt resolution 579.
I'll second that movement.
It passes by acclamation.
I had a question on the calendar.
Yes, sir.
If I'm certified, I'm not able to make any second Tuesdays of the month. And I noticed in June, July, and August, it's on the second Tuesdays. At 1 in the afternoon. And I wouldn't be able to make those meetings. I also was wondering why it's on a Tuesday and not on a Monday.
Well, we had a conversation about that. I think it was last year. We were trying to allow, trying to allow people that have different schedules, different calendars, different work weeks, different whatever, opportunities to come to the meetings. So, and just randomly, I think we randomly picked some days last year as well. I think there were 1 or 2 days that we also, no, that was something else, sorry.
Yeah, we did talk about, in the summer months, also, allowing people to, the staff and anybody else who's gonna be here to, have an afternoon type meeting also, so that everybody can, enjoy the longer daylight hours, either for, you know, get more things done at home or personal recreation or whatever, so.
Well, I would suggest Mondays, rather than, if we're gonna do that, the commissioners are gonna do that.
Or come up.
Another day of the week. But I know Tuesdays, I have a commitment that day, so.
I have no, I'm open as far as the days go, so.
We just passed it. We just passed the resolution, right?
Yeah, technically we could do, it is passed, so I don't know how. We gotta do that, but we would just do another resolution, 582 that.
Reset that.
Yeah, that over, just like if you were to, halfway through the year, if you decided you wanted to change something, we have to do a resolution to change any regular meeting. Right, so if you, even if you change the location, so if, in May, you wanted to move the meetings to the Carnegie, we'd have to do another resolution, so it's not like,
Yeah.
it just, the newest one overrides the one before it. Or you can say that was a accidental vote and take another vote.
But then we're gonna, well, let me ask this. Is there any desire with you and the staff to have it on Tuesdays?
No, it was just,
I don't
it
remember.
was because, like you said, let's say the community had a similar commitment to Commissioner Flatt on a Monday, right? So there are people that have, just like he does, cannot make a Tuesday.
Regular.
So if that person was if that person had the same thing on a Monday, that's why we moved it to Tuesday. Not knowing everybody's schedule,
Sure.
that was the only reason for us. I think it would be either way. What we didn't want to do was make it sooner, right? Like, it's technically not the second Tuesday, it's the Tuesday after the second Monday. Now they all end up being the second Tuesday, but some of them could have ended up being the third Tuesday. So what I didn't want to do was make the meeting sooner than it normally would have been, because that is a strain on staff to get things. So
Right.
as long as it's that Monday, Tuesday,
So if we change it to the Wednesday, does that work for everybody?
just want to make sure,
Second
do we have
Wednesday?
any, like, standing meetings on Wednesday? Just give us just a second. So we can't miss, I should say.
Yeah,
I think. We're running, I think, the fire tack, which is usually here at 1 o'clock.
On Wednesday.
Is that Wednesday?
Typically on Wednesdays, yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Mondays or Tuesdays, I think. I don't see anything, I think fire tack would be.
Kept it on the Monday, then it would just be just a 1 o'clock start in the summer, so they'd all be on Mondays at that point, right?
Yeah, they all be on Mondays. We have fire chiefs on some Wednesdays, or some Mondays here.
Let's do this. We'll consider that resolution passed, and then we'll ask the staff to see if there's another date or time and/or time that could work.
Is it the whole Tuesday? Like if we did it at 3 o'clock, would that matter?
What time?
Is it the whole Tuesday, like with
Yeah.
3 o'clock? Okay, we will.
Okay,
because it's, yeah, that's 6 months off, we can,
Yeah, we wouldn't have to
Come back.
pass a resolution until the month before, so
Right.
as long as we did it by the May meeting.
yep, okay.
and we are looking at a policy update. I'm a little curious about exactly how the data analysis graded the issue.
The other one had weird things like, don't count this or that, or sometimes don't. Sean, I could remember it. And so there was just these little narratives that got very, very specific. It's hard for her to take out the little ones. Do we have the old one? I don't have the old one.
I don't
I don't
have
have
the
the
one
red
with
one
me. It
at the time, so.
I think it was a BLS with
2 or more units or 2 or more personnel?
Whether that was like unless, first on scene unless it's a battalion chief with one on scene or a executive chief, and those things, there were all these exceptions for things that don't happen. And so for her to go through and weed those out was extremely.
So, and we were doing that in order to respond to the way the policy was written?
We, technically, yes, so we are supposed to do the data to the policy.
Yeah.
And no, we didn't, because literally you cannot do the data to the policy. So we're trying to make the policy match what we can actually do with. So I can pull up the red line if you want real quick. I just don't have it in the packet, so. So we didn't change anything of the meeting at all, like nothing of substance changed. Why is my computer?
Then there's some slight change just with how dispatch codes call, so they're changed from med 1 through 3.
Yeah.
So weird that, but.
Yeah, so we,
Including all ALS calls.
so we have things that said, all these calls were the code calls. Well, those changed all the time. Meaning not the call, but what dispatch calls the call, right? So when the policy was written, we had, BLS, non-code, BLS, MEDX. And now we have BLS 1, 2, 3, ALS 1, ALS 2, ALS 3, and MEDX, right? So the policy didn't match what dispatch is actually doing. So we got that language, and so like I said, all of it was to match what we are doing in dispatch and how the data comes in with what we can do data-wise. It didn't change the calls that we count, it didn't change the times, it didn't change anything. Do you have your red line version?
I don't have.
Okay. It's taking a while to pull up.
So, I'm still struggling with how what you're saying fits in with the policy, because I'm not seeing that kind of detail in the
If you're
policy.
not looking the red line, then you're probably missing it. So, because we took it all out and changed it, so it doesn't have that. It had these weird details. It's not pulling up the red line in the policy either.
Maybe I'm getting too.
Yeah, I think your computer.
So, but it sounds like there are more levels now, ALS 1, BLS 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so that one we didn't change, we made it match what we have, right? It had things in it that the dispatch doesn't do anymore, so like this. So first 2 travel times in urban areas, for EMS calls, the first 2-person BLS or higher capable unit. So, right, so we just took out these little things, instead of saying MEDX and MEDX, Med and MEDX, which the old system was. Now that we have ALS 1, ALS 2, we just said ALS priority call. Okay, so we're just changing the terms to match what we are actually doing, because the thing changed. See here, it said, first ALS travel time except command units or single person units are excluded except an MSO. Well, for her to write that, like,
So
exclude
you're
all these,
trying
but add those
to,
in.
you're trying to capture all of those.
What we're actually.
Yeah, because we're supposed to report to this policy. That's literally what the policy is we have to report to it. So when you have these long string exceptions, that's really hard to put in data, right? You're doing these.
Well, and it's hard, it's hard to capture it correctly.
Correct.
Or to get it even entered correctly.
And for somebody else to read it and understand it, what it
So
really means.
this is the part that we said where it used to say all these different old levels that we just changed to say now just priority 1. So also in dispatch it has the priority, so we use the priority because as dispatch changes BLS non-code to BLS 1, the priority doesn't change, so then we don't have to keep going back and changing. Exactly.
Yep.
Is that one of the call types too, because they add call
Yes,
types all the time.
and then they add a call type, which we count, but it's not in our policy. Because somebody says, hey, I want this call type for this thing. So we're just trying to clean up the policy so that we can manage it
Yeah,
effectively.
makes sense.
Okay, so one other thing I noticed in this policy, and it caught my eye kind of right off the bat, is in 3.2, the second bullet.
Now I gotta get back to the new one. This is probably gonna be a good grammar thing.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 3.2, sorry, I was in 3.1.
3.2, second bullet. For those in the audience, it says, "The Board of Fire Commissioners shall conduct a yearly review and update the service objectives as deemed appropriate." I'm assuming that that means taking a look at what we have decided over time as what our response times are gonna be.
Correct, and we assume the way I assume this is being read is every time we give you the annual report, because it has our objectives and how we met them.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we give you the annual report every year when we're done with it. You review the annual report, how we're doing, what we've done, right?
Oh,
So you can review this too, but that's where you're seeing our response objectives and how we're doing,
okay.
right? It has the objective and our,
I read this
as this
to,
policy specifically.
I read this to mean that you're gonna, not looking at so much whether you're meeting the policy, but deciding whether or not the policy is where we still wanna be.
Correct, and I guess we do, to me, we do that in the annual report, because you would want to see how we're meeting it, so we should, to me, they're not separate,
Really?
right? So here's the objectives, here's how we're doing, that's when you would want to look at it and say, is that objective right or not,
Okay,
right?
well, yes, one could, I didn't.
Yeah. Like if the objective was 1 minute and we were doing 10 minutes, maybe something's wrong. If the objective was 10 minutes and we were doing it at 1 minute, maybe something's wrong.
Right.
So we can try to remember to include the policy when we do the annual
No,
report.
no,
but
it's,
that's, yeah. That's why we put the objective in.
but there is one thing, and I went back to the annual report to look at it, that, and I don't want to come off as being critical, because I don't think that is necessarily productive. But I think we can do better in one specific area, and that one specific area will have a trickle-down effect on all the rest of them. And it is turnout time. It's just, it's not great. I'm sorry. I just don't feel that it is. NFPA is what, 80 seconds for fire and 60 seconds for EMS, right? And we're at 2.5 minutes, which we need to do better than that. And I understand that there are some challenges with station layouts and that sort of thing. But I've had an opportunity in the last couple of months to just kind of go and watch crews respond. And I'll use an analogy. There's a response to a wildland fire, and then there's a response to a Strategic Air Command fighter jet takeoff, right? And I'm seeing it's a little closer to the wildland fire response. There doesn't seem to be that sense of urgency to get out the door. And maybe that's just my perception, but I don't know. I think we can do better there and get closer to, a minute and a half, minute 45 seconds, because then that trickles down and makes the first dues would then be faster, right? So that improves that. So you just have to change one thing and you get improvement over like 3 or 4. I'd like us to see if we can improve that. So
And I think we would all agree with you, and we've been working to change the culture and change the mechanisms to that, whether that's through the alerting system, the paging system, the station design, but at the end of the day, it has to be a personal
Yeah.
choice.
So, from experience, in doing a complete line shift in the Everett production factory, one of the goals that it was really important for production to hit was they would do a complete airplane shift on the third shift. And so when the first shift came back in, they wanted to make sure that everybody understood that when the first shift came back in, that everything was starting afresh and new and all ready to go. And so one of the things that they found that was really helpful to everybody on third shift was to post a start time on the factory wall where everybody saw it and knew what it was. If this is the goal, this is when we want to have the line completely changed. And so everybody that's involved, so it didn't matter whether it was the restroom attendant cleaning out the restroom, because if the restrooms are closed on the line that you're changing, it means that everybody goes a block and a half over to the next set of restrooms. So it's so simple things like that. So by putting that start time up there on the wall where everybody could see it, everybody knew what it was really apparent. And it did change the culture after a while. It took some time, but everybody started saying, yeah, that's what we need to hit. Yeah, that's what we need to hit every time. I don't know if we can do something like that here.
That's what we're working for. So.
Get something posted, visibly posted,
Yeah.
so everybody looks at it all the time.
So we can't do any of that, like Locution has it, but we don't because we don't have that until we get the new stations. We're working with the data to go to SQL so that we can do real-time data, because right now we can't post the turnout, we don't get the data from dispatch until a month and a half after, and then it will take us time to do it. So some DCs go in and hand mine the data, but there's nothing that we can automate because we don't have the infrastructure. So yes, part of all this station rebuild and all that is so that we can get to all that. So we could, if we had Locution have timers, we could have digital dashboards that show that, but we don't, none of our stations have the physical infrastructure, high-speed data there from dispatch to do that. And so as we,
To do it in a reasonable amount of time.
yeah, that's what I mean, like real time that he's saying.
Well,
like-
could we
like
put,
we're-
could you put just, I don't know, do we have the ability to put those cheap electronic reader board,
No,
put something up?
that's
What
what
what he's saying is
Yeah.
that the data is so far behind.
so there's nothing that triggers that.
What you're saying is our target is.
Our target is,
Um,
leave the station within. Boom.
So-
We
We do.
do have
Yeah,
some of that
digital
today.
dashboards.
So the digital dashboards that we do have displayed, when a call comes in, if it gets the alert, which they probably do 95% of the time, sometimes they'll miss, it does put a countdown clock, and that dispatch will be up for 2 minutes. And will be I don't remember if it counts up or down, do you remember, Sean? It counts up, so at 2-minute mark, it goes away.
So we
So
still have the.
we do, those have not always been proven, they get that from, those are not always accurate, and they're supposed to reset at 7 o'clock at shift change, and then when we do time changes, it screws it up, they're East
Yeah.
Coast,
Well,
and
Well, I mean, that's top of our mind.
we have some things
Yes.
that, we do have mechanisms, and we have, like, we're on rapid dispatch, we're one of, 4 agencies that have not went off rapid dispatch. In other words, as soon as that call lands at Snow 911, they ask like 4 questions and they hit a button. People not on rapid dispatch, they go through a series of 12 to 15 questions,
Sure.
and it's
Right.
about a minute and a half longer. We made the decision, we want rapid, which means everything gets dispatched initially as an 8 call, and then about the time they're rolling out the door, it gets type coded, this is a Med 1, Med 2, BLS 3. But we felt like, I'd rather get it quick, get a wheel turn,
Get it going.
and then figure it out. It is culturally, mostly. There are some shifts that are doing a really good job, BCs that are really messaging it out, that share that data with their crews all the time, and we don't have the ability yet, but we will have the ability to really drill into specifically not only what shift is doing a great job, what station is doing a great job, and then when you can start parsing that information out, then we can start having conversations with crews and say, you know, what's the barrier that's holding you from getting out the door a little bit quicker? So I know we've done a lot of things on our end administratively, from 2 sets of bunker gear, so you can store gear on both sides to get you out the door, staying on rapid dispatch. We got display panels that do the count up or count down clock to show them. I do think recently, as of March, part of the barrier is our alerting. Our alerting, when they did that patch over to 800, our belt pagers, our cell phones, everything has been affected at different times where there's delays from the time the call lands till the notification. And locution should help that, because nobody else that's on locution is saying they're getting massive delays like we are on some of the Nighthawk and VHF type stuff. So they did something where on the towers where those signals get sent to our belt pager and to the Nighthawks over VHF, the way it was explained to me is we used to have this much bandwidth. They shrunk it down to this much, and we share it with King County, so calls stack. And they take a while to get through the gate, so the busier the system, the more delay. And Sean, what are you experiencing on belt pagers? Sometimes 30 seconds to a minute delay since March before they get it. So I think there are some cultural things that we can work on, but I also think that since March, there's been some alerting issues that we're dealing with that we hope will get solved when we get into locution. And get better data to where we can really get down to the rig.
But we agree that, I mean, so like the digital dashboards were bought for that. So, I mean, we do other things with them, but that was the purpose they were bought for, is exactly what you're saying. We just don't, we're still, without having the new infrastructure, we still can't quite marry up the abilities that we want to get it out there. And then, like you said, hopefully we'll get to where we can be giving real-time data by station, by shift to say, here, you know, this is what we're shooting for, this is what you did.
Right.
But we're trying to change the culture before we get to all that every way we can. And like you said, Commissioner Mills, I can't disagree with you. I've witnessed the same thing, and we're trying to, through the VCs, get that shift. Yeah.
Seconds count,
Correct.
you know?
And you don't know what seconds you need until you're there.
Yeah.
So you don't know if you need it this time or don't need it. But we talk a lot about, you know, the history coming up as a volunteer when you had 60 people in the station and only 12 riding positions. People were really fast to a rig because you weren't gonna make it. Now that we got assigned seating and a guaranteed spot and nobody's leaving, you can slow down because you don't have to worry about somebody taking your riding spot. But
Yeah, call processing time. We're hitting that 98% of the time, and the average is 36 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And our target is 90 seconds.
And before we went to rapid dispatch,
2.
yeah, 3 minutes. So we shaved off 2.5 minutes
Yeah.
by going to rapid dispatch. So you might hear about people complaining about it here and there, but to shave 2.5 minutes off, that's hard to argue.
Yeah, that's huge.
And I know this is taking us off, but the intent of looking at this policy was, but first do EMS and first do ALS. Aren't they essentially one and the same here?
They are now, but we didn't make any meaningful changes because we haven't had that discussion.
Yeah.
But when the policy was written, we had 1, sometimes 2 ALS.
Ah,
Now we have
right, okay.
always 2, mostly 3, and sometimes 4. So again,
So that
we
was-
have changed over time, and that could be something as we look at more in depth about the structure of
Sure.
the policy that we could change. But we thought it would go through quick and easy if we didn't change the structure.
Until Mills got sideways. this was set as a discussion item. Do you need any more time to digest it?
No,
I don't see any
move that
reason to
we
not
adopt this.
approve it now. Yeah, so policy 108 with the suggested changes. Approved.
That was a motion and a
Motion and
acclamation.
an acclamation right there all in one. Brian Sir would be cringing probably.
Small, so we don't need seconds, so we're good.
The voucher system, it looks like we just need to change titles of people, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I don't, do you have any questions on that?
No questions. I move we adopt.
So, that's resolution 580. Move that we adopt that and rescind 547.
Great.
Passed by acclamation. In the small works roster, was there any significance in new laws and what we needed to look at, or was it just minutia?
Minutia.
Okay.
Yeah, there was, what triggered me, there was something that changed starting in 2025, so I had him look at it, and he said, yeah, there was a few changes, but I looked
Nothing
quickly and
of
couldn't find any
substance.
substance, so there's something obviously in there, but I wasn't gonna take the time
Yeah,
to
it's one of those
to
things.
ferret it out.
If you're an attorney, you can read through it and find the two words that are different.
Yeah, which I didn't get dotted.
Yeah.
C didn't get crossed.
So that small works roster, that's resolution 581. Sure. And it will,
I had a
oh,
question about
sir.
that. Is the MRSC, is that reflected in the budget? Them doing the work for us?
Do we pay?
There's a membership.
Yeah, we're currently members, that's what we
It's
use
very
now.
expensive,
Oh,
I
okay.
know that, but we've been.
But the
members for
new thing
years.
was to put it in the paper? Is that the new part of that?
No, we do, like I said, nothing of substance changed, so we had a policy 503
503.
that had MSRC as our roster that we
Yeah.
do that, so no, that's all.
Okay.
It's all in the budget, because that's what we've been
Okay.
doing. That's why I said I don't know what
Okay.
SNR changed, but this is not changing the way we operate.
Okay. Thank you.
I move that we adopt resolution 581 and rescind 503.
Second?
Passed by acclamation.
Oh, and appendix N, that is new, the plan we have to have.
The what?
The plan, the small works roster plan, appendix N.
Appendix N,
It comes right after it's appendix N to policy 202. Page 57. That was something new that we didn't have.
Okay. I just kind of glossed over that for some reason, thinking that it was just part of the other.
Yeah, that is new, but.
So is it something that that's an amendment to the current policy
Correct.
202
Correct.
that we need to,
A new appendix to policy 202. So that might have been the law change, either now or years back. And again, it doesn't really change anything the way we operate. We do all this already.
the works projects under 150,000, that's still all the same.
Yeah, the tracking it is more robust, so we'll just add something to our purchase authorization form so that it's easy to grab the data at year end.
So we need a motion to approve that new appendix to policy 202.
Yeah, I'll move that we approve the appendix
Appendix N,
in
policy 202.
202.
And I second that. That's why. Moving on to action items. We have the revenue and expense budgets that we have spent a lot of time reviewing. And I appreciate your work on these, Chief. It's great information to have in front of us on a regular basis. Have we ever had a $20 million budget? Everybody's going, no, no, no. Have we been close? No. Yeah.
Yeah, that was about 3 or 4, I can't remember what it was, but,
It's quite good.
yeah, but never, this was the
It was.
first one.
We're plowing new ground.
Yes.
Okay. And the levy certification, I read through there, and that looks all
Yep.
good to me. So I make a motion to adopt and approve resolution 578 and to direct the chief to sign the levy certification.
Now, second.
Pass by acclamation. We did get, yeah, it's in your packet,
Yeah, the year
the
to
revised revenue numbers.
second tax payment revenue came in this morning, so we did a paper copy for you guys, update the year-to-date revenue. So we're at, I think I got myself a paper copy.
11,700 instead of 6,700. 11 million, excuse me.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We're gonna be hurt.
And then we have a fair amount of transport revenue that came in. There was some Medicare payments that our billing company stopped processing because they weren't sure about. There's some
Oh, God. Shut down.
Exactly, there's some add-ons and they weren't sure if they were gonna be continued or not. Those are moving through, and then GDMT should be coming in the next $1 million over the next, hopefully before the end of the year, so we can have a nice tidy year end, but if not, it will
Right.
move into the next year's
Okay.
revenue.
Is there any word on the street, Chief Prater, about GMT and whether it will actually be there?
There's some rumors. There's actually been a lot of rumors.
I love
And
rumors.
I just went to a class or attended an online class that talked about it, and the only thing that they said is be optimistic. There's a 5-year ramp down that starts in 2028, but they don't know the impacts of that ramp down. There's a lot of speculation, and then at the end, they just said, be optimistic. Although HCA hasn't given their interpretation of the law, they don't anticipate that it's gonna be anything stringent.
Well, $1 million would hurt, but we could probably make it work.
Yeah, and like he said, it'd be over, we have some time before they actually develop the rules, and then some time for the rules, so we'll have enough notice.
And as far as this year's payments, would they typically have been now, were it not for the shutdown?
No, I don't think the shutdown has impacted it.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is specifically, because they said that we were supposed to have received it around September time or by September. I think it's more audits. We have a firm that's auditing, so we have a third-party firm that prepares the documents. I give them all the raw data, they based on the whatever formulas and to present the data in the best possible way. They do that. And then there's an accountant firm that's been contracted to audit, and so they've been going back and doing post audits for those, and actually been charging us back some dollars each year, so that is one of the process.
Thank you. I did have a note, Chief, there was a budget sheet, if I can find it. I probably can't. It's buried in there somewhere. I'll just ask.
In the expense budget?
Election fees. There was one from, what did it say?
There's only one.
From November of this year.
Yeah.
15, what was that?
That was from the election for the levy lift.
Oh, when I saw November, I'm thinking, we haven't done anything in November. November, and then I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's supposed to be November 26th just in case or something. Okay, so it was just a late billing.
Yeah, and I thought.
Late, it's the highest one we've ever.
Yeah, so we budgeted 15, but it was actually,
Yeah.
it comes
It
in
was
30.
36 or
So-
something like that.
Really?
So it's hard to predict, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
The number of things on the ballot.
They take their total
Yeah.
cost, divide it by total votes cast, or not cast, cast, and then how much is yours. And so, great, we have the highest, one of the highest turnouts.
Yeah.
That
So
also
you get to
means-
pay more.
Correct.
Congratulations.
And so,
And then-
the bill for the November
Welcome to
election will
America.
come in next year, so we budget for it. And it's so random.
It's a guess.
It's a huge guess.
So,
So we've had anywhere from 8,000, 30 is the highest, but when we were looking at them, they were usually between the 8 and the 15, that's why we put 15
Yeah.
and 30. And so we have no idea what, but we were extremely high turnout on this
So what do you-
November election
What do
too.
you attribute that to?
Our high,
Our voter turnout?
great candidates running.
well, part of it's the community, it really is, I mean, because if you look at, I look in the past at some of the other elections and nominations and things like that, and it's Snohomish tradition.
Was the city itself high?
I didn't look, and I haven't looked in the last couple days, but we were approaching 50% near the end of last week. Yeah, 47,
Wow.
48.
That's impressive.
The Snohomish area is, over the last 3 or 4 years, has been extremely high compared to
Yeah.
most everybody else, so. People are involved.
Yeah, so that's one of those ones that's truly a random guess when we budget time, and then the county's great because they just take the money out, whether, they just take it right out of your
Yeah,
account.
just-
They give you about a week's notice, and they're like, hey, we're taking all your money next week, and it's, yeah,
Yeah.
So we had a slight bump in our average this year on the election fee, so.
yeah.
Anything else? Right? We have a promotional list. Wait, what
Expense
did I miss?
budget, expense budget, we didn't, you adopted the revenue, but I don't think you adopted the expense budget, did you?
I thought I did. Doesn't the resolution do both?
No, the resolution is only for the, so by state law, we only have to adopt a revenue budget, we don't have to adopt an expense budget, but we do. Commissioner, Chair,
Yeah.
okay.
So we need to approve this, whatever page that is on,
Yeah, 67.
67. It started at 69. Mr. Flapp?
Yes, on page 60, at least it was page 60 as I saw it anyway, it talked about the commissioners, and I noticed that it says 2 compensations, and I wonder what that was about.
On page 60?
Yeah. But it said commissioners and then 2 compensations only. There were only 2 there. I was wondering what that was about.
I don't, page 60 is nothing, can you,
I don't, yeah.
You
page
know what the
60.
document was?
The document that I had received even had pages like 4,774 as a page.
What was the document on page 60 that you were looking at?
It was right after the expense budget. That began on page 45 on what I received. And,
So was it one of the budget worksheets?
yeah, it was on one of the budget worksheets, you know.
yeah, so it's the budget worksheet. I'm not sure how you're getting the pages, yeah, it'd be your page 75.
Is that one of the, it's a budget?
Budget worksheet, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably just the detail because the chair doesn't take his fee.
Oh, okay.
So there's only 2 for this board right now,
All right.
and that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, well, that makes sense, but if that's the case, but I just,
And that would have been what this budget
Yeah.
worksheet said, yeah.
but, okay. And then I had I had another question about janitorial services at the new fire station. Is that covered somewhere on the budget, one of the budget items?
No, because, we don't hire, we stopped hiring anybody to do our janitorial work, we do it all ourselves.
Okay. There must be a reason for that, but I'll ask, maybe not here, okay? All righty.
Anything else?
No,
No,
those
okay.
were the two I had, so.
So we still need to approve the expense budget for 2026, and I move that we do that.
And I'll second.
It's passed by acclamation.
Thank you. Now you have your, and you have paper copies of those.
Yes. So we have some promotional lists that we need to certify,
And no names.
and no names. So one is for the rank of engineer, certifying that list. And the other is for the rank of lieutenant and certifying that list. Do you have those? Greg?
Yes, I do have those, and I move that we approve both of those.
And I second it. Passed by acclamation. Do we have open spots?
Currently, we do not.
Okay.
And, by policy, it'd be a one-year list unless we came back to you and asked for an extension. And if it ended up being a two-year list, there's a potential that we would, through attrition or retirements, we could have some promotions.
Okay.
And we typically, kind of the policy is if we have at least 3 candidates left on the list, that we would ask you to extend them. We just haven't had that in a long time. So if none get used, we hope to come back to you next year and extend the list for 2 years. That's the plan.
All right.
Jason has asked for a break.
Yeah,
Here,
not just me,
Yeah,
everybody
that's
everybody else
fantastic.
that I asked to,
the entire department gets involved in testing for fire.
Yeah.
Everybody's.
say the BC's and training department did the heavy lifting.
A couple of meetings ago, the board discussed a statement that we wanted to send, a letter that we wanted to send out to the department and all its members. And then the last meeting, there was a dissenting position on the part of Commissioner Merritt. But the rest of the board feels strongly about going ahead and sending that letter. And so we will do that. We'll just ask that the closing, is that salutation? No, whatever, closing, just be from the board rather than two members of the board. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So.
No signature, you
No
want to see it in his
signature.
chair, okay?
Yep.
No. We will email it out on behalf of the.
Okay. Thank you. And we have a couple of large warrants. Two to GenCap, one for 1.2 million, and do you need the exact, do I need to say the exact amount?
No, did you just say the
Oh, the number?
Yeah, 25, 17, I think they are. I'll have to look.
It's number.
25.17 or 25.18?
Where's that number?
Lower left-hand side, just above the signature line.
warrant number 2517, right after the total.
Oh, right there where it says large warrant. So warrant 2517 and 2518 for GenCap, and then warrant 2519 for Lion. I move that we approve all three of those.
Second that.
Pass my application. And now pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101G, the board is going into executive session to review the performance of an employee. And we anticipate that it will be short, 10 minutes. And that's it. That clock is not right.
No,
It's only an hour off.
I can't reach it.
We're in summertime
It's
there.
at 17:56.
absolutely, yes, yes. You want a reminder of 10?
Yes, please.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves. 10 minutes.
Are you paused?
10 minutes.
All right.
10 minutes.
All right. Yeah, let's figure this out.
10 minutes. I got it.
Let me see if I can kick the
Oh, oh.
Commissioner.